Modere distributors have made their own diet plan, and it's really concerning. Let's talk about it. Hey folks, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Kat. I'm a licensed registered dietitian nutritionist, and on this channel I like to talk about weight inclusive and weight neutral focused approaches to health, as well as diving into scammy and, in my opinion, unethical nutrition related businesses, products, mostly nutrition related MLMs, and other fear mongering nutrition related claims. This video will be focused on the dieting program that some Modere distributors have put together and are really promoting at this time of this recording. It is not done specifically by Modere corporate, but this is still something that I think is important to talk about because the Facebook group has over 2,000 people in it. There's a lot of distributors who are using this as a way to get people started with Modere. Now, if you are looking for a Modere deep dive, I will have that linked in the cards and down below. Let's get into this dieting plan and this challenge overall. I also wanted to make a note and a thank you to DC, another anti-MLM creator, for sharing this information about this dieting program. She reached out and shared this with me as being a dietitian, as someone who might want to kind of break this down a little bit more, discuss some of the concerns around this program. So there is a history with the 5-day drop that was created a while back by Modere distributors, but then right now they're doing an addition to that. So they're doing what is called the 5-day drop plus. Let's hear a little bit of background.
We are going to share with you how you can take part in Drop Plus 2024. Now, let's talk about what that is real quick here. What that is it's a continuation or an extension from a program that was launched by several incredible leaders in summer of 2023. And the 5-day drop went absolutely viral. It went all over the world. I'm talking Australia, Canada, United States, United Kingdom, everywhere. And people were raving about this 5-day drop. But we all know we can do anything for 5 days, right? But we kept getting this, well, what's next? What's next? What's next? And so for 2024, we decided, you know what? We need a next phase. Let's ignite our metabolism with an ignite phase. And let's make it 10 days, because if you can do 5 days, you can do 10 days. And so this program, you can do a 5-day just to get back to maybe some of that fluff you gained over the holidays. You can do a 15-day, or you can do 2 rounds and you can do a 30-day. You can put it together like a puzzle with whatever amount of days is going to be right for your goals and also for your budget. We're going to show you an incredible promotion that Modere launched. Those are the nutritional products that partner with this program, and they launched that on December 27th, which, if you're listening live, is today, and it runs through the 7th of January. So all the savings we're about to show you, all the things we're about to show you, they're going to run through the 7th of January.
So that's a little bit about the history of this challenge. It's somewhat new, but they took the original 5-day program or plan and are adding additional days to it. So it's a 5-day drop plus. And that includes the 5-day drop and the 10-day ignite. Now, this is all hosted on a Facebook group. In their description, they say if you like the 5-day drop, you're going to love the extended version of the 5-day drop called 5-day drop plus, complete with meal guide, nutritional support, and group accountability here in the Drop Challenge Facebook group. Join now for early access to tips, shopping credits, and prizes to fuel your drop. Save your money and improve your results, which is kind of funny using the phrase save your money because there is no money to be saved in this challenge. You're buying a lot of products. So we went over a little bit of the background of how it got started, but let's talk what the challenge actually is. And specifically, let's talk about the products first. And then I'll go through the guide and talk about some of the concerns that I have about that.
We are super excited that you're going to be joining us for the 5-day drop. In the next few minutes, I'm going to be explaining the power and the synergy of the 5 nutritional products that you're going to be using. Let's get started with Phyto Greens. So this product is going to help you in so many ways. The phytonutrients will help to alkalize, energize, nutrify, and detoxify your body. So this contains superfoods, marine greens, leafy greens, adaptogens, and you couldn't possibly consume enough fresh fruits and vegetables to get all of the goodness that you get from one scoop of phyto greens. The alkalizing benefits alone are going to be hugely supportive of your efforts with the 5-day drop. One of the most critical mandates for vibrant health and energy is to keep your body at a proper pH balance. pH measures the acidity or the alkalinity in your bodily fluids, and that, my friends, affects every cell in your body. So here's the challenge. Most of the foods that we eat and our high stress lifestyles will create a very acidic terrain in our body. And when we're running acid, so to speak, it's like swimming upstream if you're trying to shed pounds. And acidity also creates water retention, makes your muscles flabby, and can create joint stiffness. So our phyto greens will optimize alkalinity in the body.
Let's talk about some of those claims. The body's pH is a tightly regulated system, and it does that tight regulation on its own. It is maintained by our kidneys, by our liver. No matter how many alkalizing greens that you consume, your diet has minimal influence on that very specific range. The blood pH levels. The idea of dramatically changing your pH through your intake, it's more of a myth than a reality. Like, yes, you want to consume alkaline foods, but because of everything else that those foods contain. So sometimes people find that when they start an alkaline diet, they feel a little bit better. Maybe their digestion is a little bit better. But when you actually look at what it is, an alkaline diet is the addition of more vegetables. And typically also there's some reduction of things that maybe aren't so nutrient dense. And the anecdotal benefits that someone might feel when on an alkaline diet is not necessarily because the food is alkaline itself, but because of the nourishing foods that they're adding into their intake. When we're consuming foods and it's going into the stomach, it is going into a naturally very acidic place, a very acidic state. The stomach acid, it's acidic. And so even if you are consuming alkaline foods, it is still going to end up acidic. But that is okay because that is part of the digestion process. Now, as far as phyto greens go, any kind of like greens product in general, there are time and places that those can be very helpful. Greens products are not going to be something that I recommend for everybody. At that same time, in some circumstances, greens products can be helpful, can be beneficial, but they're not like a necessary thing either. Like, there's a time and a place, and sometimes I feel like greens products or greens powders, the promotion or the marketing around them can make them seem like they're almost like necessary in order to have a nourished body, which is just not the case. Let's continue on.
Next is Revitalize. This is our great tasting stick pack essential and trace mineral product. So minerals are essential for hear me, they're responsible for every metabolic function in the body. And we don't make minerals, we don't metabolize them in our body. So we have to get them from our foods. And many experts believe that since our soils have been depleted of essential nutrients as they've been farmed over the generations, that the nutrients are no longer in the soil, so we're not getting them in our food supply. It becomes critical that we supplement. So I just want to encourage you to do a quick Google search on calcium, magnesium, potassium, phosphorus, selenium, copper, manganese, chromium, molybdenum, and just see what they're called essential minerals for a reason. Just see all the metabolic functions that those minerals stimulate, and you would never be without this product again. So product number 3.
Okay, so with this product, she's really promoting the idea of the minerals in there and the depletion around minerals, or the depletion of minerals in soil of the foods that are grown. Now, soil nutrients can definitely affect the nutrients in vegetables, but a varied intake, a varied diet, that will typically give the minerals that our bodies need. Supplementation of minerals might be beneficial in certain cases, but they're not universal dietary must-haves, the supplementation of them, especially if there is a kind of well-balanced intake. the necessity of supplementation of minerals is not something that is evidence-based, like universally for everyone is not something that is evidence-based in certain cases, but mineral supplementation universally not evidence-based. And the note about the soil depletion, sometimes that can, rightfully so, concern some people. I actually made an infographic about this because this is something that comes up with so many MLM distributors that they'll reference this study that was done. So oftentimes you'll hear distributors say, like, we're not getting the nutrition we used to. Sometimes they'll use percentages and say, like, did you know compared to 50 years ago, carrots are down by 39% in iron, watermelon is down 69% in riboflavin. So typically they're referring to a 2004 study, and it was published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition. So just reading from an infographic because it makes things easier, the study compared the nutrient content of 43 garden crops and found a decline between 1950 and 1999. 6 nutrients showed a reduction with the median of 6%. Protein, calcium, potassium, iron, riboflavin, which is vitamin B2, and ascorbic acid, or vitamin C. For other nutrients, there were no other statistically significant changes in values, and the conclusion suggested that any real declines are most easily explained by changes in cultivated varieties between 1950 through 1999, in which there may be trade-offs between yield and nutrient content. Fruitsandveggies.org also covered this, and they said plants can easily be bred for higher nutrition if there were a need. And we see that with GMOs, for example. Check out my video on GMOs if you have questions about that. But they continue on. One can argue that while old versus new data may show nutritional composition changes, it likely isn't nutritionally significant. For example, whether a half cup of peppers contains more than the current 143 milligrams of vitamin C isn't really that important when only 75 to 90 milligrams per day is needed by the body in the first place. And they continue on that seed breeders today have to balance already very nutritious fruits and vegetables with other factors that's also important to consumers. Things like improved plant disease resistance, resulting in less use of pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, also increase plant stress tolerance to manage changes in climate, ultimately resulting in less expensive food as well, more attractive fruits and veggies to increase the desire to eat them, better shelf life so they don't spoil as fast in the fridge at home, resulting in less waste and overall increased consumption of fruits and vegetables, and ultimately less expensive food and better flavor, which increases the desire to eat more. So I just say whenever I hear, and I so often hear it from nutrition MLM distributors about that note of soil depletion, it is most often given without any context surrounding that, and it's most often in a fear-mongering kind of way in order to sell or promote a supplement, exactly like this example that we're seeing with this video. If I hadn't seen that study, or if I only saw that study and didn't really further digest what was in the study and what they were saying in the outcome and conclusions and all of the information that I provided, the context surrounding that, I would be concerned about the soil depletion as well, and maybe start looking for a supplement to replace that. So just know it's a marketing tactic. Let's continue on.
So product number 3, digestive enzymes. My friends, I absolutely love this product. As we age, our bodies don't produce as many enzymes as they do when we're younger. And without enzymes, we can have undigested food pass to the colon, causing bloating and gas, irregularity and diarrhea. So the biggest job your body does all day long is the intake, digestion, assimilation, and elimination of food. The more efficient that we can make that process, the more energy you will have, the less digestive bulk will accumulate in your body. And just, have you ever noticed that sometimes after you eat a big meal, you feel super sluggish or tired? Or have you ever experienced having your food repeat even hours after you've already eaten? So I have experienced all of those things. And when I started taking digestive enzymes, it was a game changer for me. And then consider this also. Most of the foods that we eat they've been overcooked, or they're processed and literally dead foods, completely depleted of any enzymes. When you heat a food over 100 degrees, You destroy all of the natural enzymes that come with that food to help you digest it. So we must supplement. Next.
Digestive enzymes, though, deficiencies can happen. They're pretty rare, though, or not common, except in specific medical conditions. For most people, the body adapts to the enzyme production. It adapts efficiently throughout life, outside of like lactase enzyme production, which a lot of people find that significantly goes down as they age. Supplementary enzymes for most people aren't necessary and may not significantly improve digestion at all. Enzyme supplementation is usually for those who have like pancreatic insufficiency or something going on with their pancreas. There are other cases as well, but it's not something that is common. Like, I experience a lot of the people who I work with have used enzymes or are using enzymes like very intentionally. It works for them, it fits for their case. And so like it's common when I'm working with a lot of like people with medical nutrition therapy, but like in general, like especially more on like the athlete side and just the general like nutrition side of things, it's very we just don't do it. We don't need it. It's very rare. Like, if somebody needs a digestive enzyme, that is a sign that there is something potentially going on underneath. That is a sign that I would really encourage them to seek out a gastroenterologist, especially if the gastroenterologist is just like, you're fine, like everything's good, like maybe go to a different one. I know there is accessibility in that, there is privilege in that, but if somebody is getting such benefits outside of an enzyme or with an enzyme, that is it's a flag to me to say, well, why are you getting that kind of benefit out of it? What is going on that your body is really utilizing those enzymes? Why do you have a deficiency in the first place? That is something that I would really want to have a doctor like know about, basically. So like, if it's helping you that much, you should be under the care of a doctor for that. Potentially seeing if you can also work with a digestive focused dietitian. Let's continue.
So we must supplement.
I'm going to pause there. That note. So we must supplement. No. That is why I do these videos. That is why I'm here on YouTube making these videos and talking about this, because this is just never ending. The idea that the fact that she said, so we must supplement, that just fills me with so much rage. That is 100% not true. And I get that the goal of this is to sell products, is to sell that 5-day challenge and then the 10-day challenge and then continue on from that. I have to believe that these people truly believe what they're saying, because I don't know how somebody can say like, we must supplement, we must do something, if you know that that is just like a blatant lie, that it is 100% not true. And it just frustrates me, because if somebody believes that, fully believes that statement that she said, that we must supplement with the enzymes specifically, one, she either fully believes that, which if that is the case, then she should not be in a platform to provide health related information, I fully believe, because it is misinformation and can cause harm. Like, there's a difference between wanting to like deplatform or silence someone because you just don't like, you aren't a fan of them, versus actual like misinformation. So it's either that, or two, she knows that that's a lie and just spreading that information intentionally for sales. I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's the first one, but it is so frustrating nonetheless. Let's continue on.
Next, probiotic. This product is an essential part of the 5-day drop. Any conversation about health would be incomplete without discussing gut health. It's virtually impossible to achieve your ideal weight, or your ideal health for that matter, without a healthy microbiome. So we need to get your internal plumbing working correctly so that you can absorb your nutrients, so that you can eliminate toxins, and in all of that, you'll have fewer cravings. It literally rejuvenates your cells. And you need that right balance between the good and bad bacteria in your gut. Also keep in mind that 70% of your immune cells are living in your digestive tract. So our gut also is frequently referred to as the second brain. So even our sense of well-being, our mental alertness, and our energy levels are tied completely to having a healthy gut. It's all connected, you guys. So if you want to feel better, cleaner, and lighter, then pay attention to gut health, your gut health. And this little stick pack is so convenient, on the go formula. It has a special encapsulation technology, which means that it helps the live bacteria transit through the very acidic stomach acids to actually arrive at their target intact. 5 billion live cell count guaranteed for different strains.
So probiotics do play a role in maintaining digestive health, but our microbiome is very complex. It changes, it can change throughout time, but it's still very complex, is very individual. And probiotics are not a one-stop shop kind of thing for everyone. I have people that I work with who I recommend a specific kind of probiotic. It is not one specific kind of probiotic because it depends on the person. I use a variety of brands and strains and amounts depending on the person. I am not tied to one specific probiotic because that would be unethical. There is not one supplement that is going to work for everyone. One supplement, especially digestive health related, there is never going to be a digestive health. I say never, like I cannot imagine a time when there would be a digestive health focused supplement that I would recommend for everyone. And if you are doing this program, you are recommended a very specific probiotic. It does not fit with evidence-based care, with evidence-based information. For digestive health, no. First off, many of my digestive health people aren't even on a probiotic because it's something that is contraindicated in their situation. It's not something that I would recommend. But if they are in a probiotic, it is very individualized. And the effects vary greatly from individual to individual. And so again, I have to believe that this person is just coming from a place of wanting to help people, but it is harmful and really, really frustrating. There are so many ways that we can really support a healthy microbiome without having to take probiotics. There's that. Let's continue.
Finally, let's talk about our liquid collagen, Liquid BioCell Pure. So this is a top selling product for good reason. It has bioavailable, bio-optimized collagen, hyaluronic acid, and chondroitin sulfate.
It's the top selling product. Sorry, I had to stop that early. It's a top selling product because that's the one that distributors so often talk about. Like that is the main product. And then once somebody is kind of like sucked into that, then they will sell the other products. But that's the one, if you've ever seen distributors like with a spoon dancing around in their kitchen, that's Modere. That's why it's the most popular one.
Right. Now, collagen is the number one protein, is the most abundant protein in our body. It also makes up 70 to 80% of our connective tissue. So collagen also gives your skin its firmness, its rigidity, its structure. So when skin is sagging or internal organs are sagging, it's because your body needs more collagen.
Internal organs sagging. That's an interesting picture.
So by the time we're 25 years of age, we begin to decline in our own collagen production. And each year we make less and less and less. So we need to supplement. Now, HA or hyaluronic acid is deeply hydrating to the skin from the inside out. It's also a major component of synovial fluid. And then the chondroitin sulfate is like the shock absorber in your joints. So for the purpose of the 5-day drop, your best benefits will be more ease and mobility and lubricity in your joints. This product is clinically proven to increase lubricity in your joints. And, let's just face it, that one of the reasons people accumulate excess weight is because when there's stress on the joints and it becomes uncomfortable to move, it just makes it more difficult to shed pounds, right? And so our collagen is an ideal addition to the 5-day drop. It will give you that ease of movement, and the side benefits will be healthier, more youthful skin and hair and nails. And it even positively impacts your gums, your eyes. I mean, every cell in your body, really. So there you have it, my friends. And we recommend that you get the Liquid BioCell Pure. However, if you're in a region that doesn't give you easy access to this, to the Pure, then just go ahead and pick up the Immune or the Life or the Sport or the Skin, any of the other versions. But please be sure that on day one of your eating regimen, that you only take the collagen if you're taking the Pure, because we are completely having you avoid sugars on that first day, even fruit sugars. Okay. So there you have it, a high level overview of the 5 products.
Okay, so really briefly talking about the collagen, I've talked about this multiple different times. I have a whole video talking about collagen in general too that I'll have linked. Basically, it's a protein, it digests to amino acids. Our bodies use that amino acids in ways that it would use amino acids from other protein sources. It's not going to go into the collagen needed areas. Now, specifically talking about Modere's trim with the study that she was saying. So the only study, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm legitimately like, correct me if I'm wrong, Modere distributors, if you're watching this, if there's another study, feel free to share that with me. The one that I have found did not find those results that she was talking about. So the one that I found, and I'll have a picture, I did an overview of this one as well. So it was a 12-week study with 26 people. So right there, a very small study. Pretty short. They found reduced wrinkles and skin dryness, and that was measured by visual score and also like tactile score. However, they mentioned that a controlled study is necessary to verify these observations. And at the time of the manuscript submission, one of the 2 study authors was an employee of the BioCell technology, which isn't necessarily like a bad thing, but it's just something to keep in mind. It was not a study that was like overwhelmingly supportive to the idea that like you need to consume their specific product in your intake because it was like this kind of magical collagen supplement. Like, that is not what the study found. Now, I want to briefly share another video before we go over the guide.
So we're still getting really exciting results with our 5-day drop. That's losing 5 pounds in 5 days. And no, we're not doing it using starvation diets. Those are just not good for you folks.
You'll see why this is relevant when we look at the guide, which we'll talk about right now. It's a starvation diet. Let's get into the guide. So it starts out with the 5-day drop, the meal plan overall, or the regimen, as they mentioned. Meal 1 is drinking Revitalize with a squeeze of lemon. Your second meal is taking a probiotic and drinking a Revitalize, another one, with the squeeze of lemon. Not a hearty meal. Meal 3 is drinking another Revitalize mixed with 1 carbonated water. You know, the carbonation to help with your hunger at that point of the day. Meal 4 is another Revitalize with a scoop of phyto, so you can have that hot or cold. I've never drinking a hot greens product. Maybe it's good. I don't know. I'm okay with not trying. Meal 5 is eating a fatty protein, a vegetable, a good fat, and a pinch of sea salt. And then you take 2 digestive enzymes before or after the meal, which is something interesting because usually digestive enzymes are recommended either like 20 to 30 minutes before a meal or like with the meal, not after a meal so much. So that's a little interesting. But after that, bedtime, your, I guess, meal 6 is drinking 1 decaf green tea with some fresh lemon and taking additional 2 digestive enzymes, and that's your full day. But it's not a starvation diet. Then they lay out days 2, 3, and 4, which is you're starting the day out taking some collagen and eating protein, starch, and veggies. Thankfully, they started to include some actual food for breakfast. Meal 3 is some kind of protein and fat. They recommend the optimal idea is eating 2 hard-boiled eggs if you are under 150 pounds, or if you're over 150 pounds and you can have 3 hard-boiled eggs. Like, that's it. That's your lunch. Then you have an afternoon snack, or meal 4 is another Revitalize with a scoop of phytos, and then you can eat some kind of protein. Their meal 5 is protein and a veggie and sea salt with some digestive enzymes, and then you end the day the same way with the decaf green tea and some lemon and the digestive enzymes. Which at that point, like, the enzymes, you're not eating enough to where the enzymes would be like needed so much. And so like if you are starting to feel better with this, specifically around like digestive wise, like bloating wise, it's not because of the digestive enzymes. I would say like you're just not the foods that you're eating, you're not getting a lot of what's called like higher FODMAP carbohydrates, which can cause some gas and bloating depending on the person and the amount consumed. You're not consuming those other foods that would have like you would see more of an impact potential if you were to experience gas and bloating on a regular basis. But I'm sure a lot of people would like attribute that to the enzymes. Day 5 is a little bit different. It's pretty similar though. And then you roll into that plus, right? So we're not just doing the 5-day drop, but you're doing the 5-day drop plus, which is the ignite. So this is a 10-day part, and this one, it's kind of similar. It's a starvation kind of intake. All of them, you're taking supplements like at the times, but at breakfast you're only eating protein and fats, so no carbohydrates, no kind of fiber. Like one of the things that I'm concerned about, if somebody is doing any kind of like lifting or they're in the gym, they're really not doing their muscles like any benefit from this kind of plan laid out. Like this, your muscles need carbohydrates. So if you continue on, they repeat. After day 15, which is day 10 of the ignite, you roll back into a 5-day drop. And then right after that, you roll into another 10-day ignite. So this is providing 30 days of that very restrictive plan. And what did that guy say again?
So we're still getting really exciting results with our 5-day drop. That's losing 5 pounds in 5 days. And no, we're not doing it using starvation diets. Those are just not good for you folks.
Like that's exactly what this is. They then provide some information about portions using like a hand method. This one is very popular. It's been around for a while. It's kind of like a base that a lot of people find helpful for providing some kind of like recommendation or like starting point that you then are supposed to be able to assess and either add or change the amount of food based on how your fullness is and everything. This kind of seems like you're only getting this, like at your meals, you're only getting 1 fist of rice, potatoes, or oatmeal, or you're only getting 1 palm of chicken, beef, eggs, whatever, rather than like this is a starting point of let's try to get 1.5 fists and then we can reassess based on your fullness levels and your energy levels overall. So like you can use the hand portions in a very like healthy relationship kind of way. So like I'm not against the hand portion like method for just providing some kind of starting point that some people really want. Absolutely not necessary, but like I've seen it mostly as the implementation of let's try this and then tell me how you feel. Let's reassess from there rather than like this is what you're allowed kind of thing. Just like with so many different things, diet culture will take something and just like vomit it into diet culture. They are drinking 1 gallon of water a day. So in the group overall, I was scrolling it and there's a lot of before and afters, which I'm not the biggest fan of before and afters because they are so easily manipulated, and what works for one person is not going to necessarily work for another person. Like I can eat the exact same way and train the exact same way of my friend who has a very different build, and we're going to look different after that kind of like training cycle or whatever. Like we can't rely on before and after pictures. But overall, there's some other like positive reviews that people are feeling like they have more energy, and we don't know how they were eating before. Like were they eating not a lot of vegetables before? Were they not drinking water? Like there's so much water intake in here to where even with the addition of that, you're going to feel different if you're only consuming like 1 water bottle a day, and if you add the additional water, like yeah, you're going to start feeling different. It's not the Modere products that's necessarily doing that though. So positive reviews just overall, whenever you see them, just know that they are anecdotal information. They may be compelling, but they might not reflect the average consumer's experience. And relying solely on testimonials for any kind of health product, that can be misleading. All right, that wraps it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and make sure you're subscribed. I would greatly appreciate that. And remember, you can strive for health without subscribing to diet culture. I'll see you later. Bye.